All right, well, welcome to the Central Florida Immersive Technology Summit. My name is Dave Vanz. I'm with SOWEO. We are the creators of the Brand Humanization Framework. And today, this took me by surprise because I was going to be sitting down with someone else and then you came in. Yeah. So go ahead, introduce yourself. I know your name is Dan.
Yeah.
Go ahead, introduce yourself and what you do.
Sure, I'm Dan McConnell. I'm a Chief Technologist at Booz Allen Hamilton. I sit within our Chief Technology Office and specifically within our Bright Labs R&D organization. So we do a lot of like emerging tech R&D for the firm. And specifically within that team, I lead our XR team. So we do a lot of mix between working with clients on some of their emerging XR related issues, but also thinking about the future, what the next thing might be that our clients are really looking for and starting to build that and prototype with it now.
So what led you towards this this career?
Yep.
Like what was it that inspired you to chase it? Mm-hmm. And how did you end up at Booz Allen?
My experience in this space started like over 25 years ago as a user. I was in the Army, and the Army uses simulations as much as they can to replicate combat. So especially 25 years ago, it's like this clunky technology, but then as time went on, that continued to get better, and you see the impact it has on soldiers. Not even if you don't understand the technology itself, you understand how it's used. After I left the Army, I got into kind of commercial consulting. I was helping a lot of different technologies companies with their strategy and figuring out how to do work in the federal government, expand work elsewhere. And again, I just was like really interested in the use cases that were coming out of the technology, the new technology that was coming out. And so I really just wanted to get my hands dirty and get hands-on. So I came to Booz Allen at the time, what was called our Strategic Innovation Group. And I was just really interested in helping lead, our growing team and really get hands-on the technology and learn as much as I could about it. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years.
You guys have recently developed a partnership with Unity, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we have.
Talk about that. Like, what's that all about?
Yeah, no, that's right. We just actually announced it at South by Southwest, our formal partnership between Booz Allen Hamilton and Unity. It's really centered around digital twins. We've been working together with the Department of the Air Force. As I'm sure most folks down here in Florida know, Tyndall Air Force Base during Hurricane Michael was devastated, right? And so as you think about use cases for digital twins, that's like a prime example of let's build a digital twin of the installation to be the installation of the future. Very similar to like the Smart Cities initiative that Orlando is like an exemplar in. So it's sort of like that marriage, that relationship between us and Unity started through that work. We're both very passionate companies about the work. We're passionate about Unity's technology and leveraging it to build digital twins and all the goodness that comes there. And we're a big company full of like folks who are just really passionate about helping the government solve their technical problems. And so that's kind of how that relationship came to be.
What are some of the benefits of having a digital twin? Visually, it's cool to look at. We were up in the Orlando Economic Partnership looking at their digital twin. It's really neat how they pull it together, and who knows what that's going to like evolve into over the years.
Yep.
But what are some of the benefits outside of the visual and to be able to show someone what something might look like? Mm-hmm. Are there other benefits that maybe people don't realize by having it? Yeah,
definitely. And I think if you take a step back and think of a digital twin in the true sense of the term, like a digital twin of something in the physical world. Visually, that can be really cool. You can also model something that's not necessarily in the physical world yet and visually looks appealing, but we see a lot of value in these like large-scale industrial digital twins that have just so many use cases that you can layer on top of it, whether it's immersive applications, AI, generative AI, and really the use case, if you think about a smart city or an installation of the future, can be anything from rehearsing active shooter situations, but you can do that in an immersive environment, to real-world operations. When there is an incident like that, you can instantly visualize the entire space. You can control the space because in a true digital twin, it's there's that binary connection to where the physical can impact the digital and vice versa. You can make a change in the digital twin that will impact the physical world. So if you think about it from a technical standpoint like that, there's just so many use cases. Medical is another one that comes to mind, force protection, traffic management, and you start like building IoT sensors, and as all that data starts coming into the twin, it really just the use cases keep growing.
Can't talk digital twin without talking metaverse.
Yep.
How would you describe the metaverse?
So another intersection I myself and Booz Allen has with Orlando is that we've recently also joined the Orlando chapter of the VR/AR Association, and so that's brought us obviously closer to Unity as well. But I'm also the co-chair of the Industrial Metaverse and Digital Twin Committee, so we get this question a lot. And I think if you take my premise on digital twins and real-world digital twins and think about what does the metaverse really mean for me, and if I'm having this conversation with a client, it's really about where do I start, right? And so like if you start with a digital twin and use that as something that you can now build on top of, really that's somewhere where I start. And when I think about the future of the metaverse, you think about it's like really just the next evolution of the internet. And you think about how the last evolution of the internet scaled. I think digital twins will just continue to scale and become, whatever it's called, the Web3 or whatever it'll be called in the future. But I think taking a step back and then also not even focusing necessarily solely on the technical side. What's the workforce going to need to look like? What are the skills that we'll need? What's the way in which we'll be doing business? Will ChatGPT be helping us write codes? Like really thinking through, what that'll look like to really not just try to jump in and build the metaverse now, but be prepared for it when it comes.
Yeah, what do you, again, I'll say the word's been thrown around so many different times. People have, tried to pinpoint what it is and what it might look like. How do you think the global economy is viewing it, from businesses to just the average consumer? When they hear that word, how do you think is it being adopted well? Do you feel that people are skeptical on it? Like, where do you think the perspective is from around the world?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you said adoption, and that's like the big key there. It's tough to say, take a step back globally and really think metaverse and really all emerging tech. From an economic standpoint, you mentioned, you think about digital assets, digital currency. I think while there's a lot of hype around it, we're also seeing lots of countries who are adopting central bank digital currency, and I know that the Fed in the US is looking at it as well. So adoption, like thinking through when this comes, how are we gonna think about it? And then similarly with metaverse stuff when it comes to AR, VR, it's interesting. One thing that I'm keeping my eye on is legal policy, particularly in Europe versus the U.S., and understanding how our governments at the government level are going to think about issues that might arise in the metaverse. Much like even years after the internet came around, we were still grappling with issues of sustainability, DE&I issues in the metaverse. What's that going to look like? Accessibility is a big issue that we're actually looking at in terms of the metaverse or digital twins and XR. So I think there's just a lot to be thinking about, and to help keep you away from all the hype and to bring you back down to earth and really start to think about the different precursor technologies that exist today that we can start learning more about.
When you say accessibility, do you mean from a hardware standpoint? Do you mean from just access to internet?
All of it. All of it. Access to the application, access to the hardware. In a real-time 3D environment, access could be in different things than it means on a screen. You start talking about haptics, and now you could have Braille being read in a haptic glove, for example, or maybe I'm thinking about accessibility even in terms of gender and headsets, and not everybody's built the same way, and so why are we building headsets the same way, or at least taking it into account in engineering. And a lot of our partners are doing that, but as a large integrator and contractor, it's something that's we're always thinking about.
That's great. Yeah. I've always found that gaming technology has always been very aggressive towards making sure that it's very inclusive. The hardware is very inclusive. People with disabilities being able to have it. Last question is on Orlando. So, like I said in the beginning, Orlando right now, simulation capital of the world. Most people know us for the theme parks. What they miss is some of the local aspects of what's happening here. You got the space industry here in Central Florida. You've got Full Sail where we're at today. You have UCF involved. You have all the military. You have the gaming companies. You see them around here. People are aggressively going after innovating this immersive technology. Where do you see Orlando playing a role moving forward in, let's call it the metaverse?
Yeah, no. So I have a slightly biased view just because I was in the military and I'm focused on all things military just in my day-to-day. So one way in which I see it evolving is, you mentioned gaming and accessibility. I see Orlando is really growing at the intersection of like gaming and the military as a technology, right? So, I can remember, even back when I was in the Army, gaming was something that soldiers did in their free time. Now, as a government consultant, I'm working with government agencies to understand how gaming can actually improve operations. And so if you start thinking about the synergies around that technology between previously seemingly very different industries, Orlando is the meta center of that, right? And so I think that's an exciting DoD use case. But then, like you mentioned, I'm not from Florida, but I come down here all the time, and it's just amazing what the Chamber of Commerce, the city, and just this whole ecosystem down here. You mentioned all the universities. It's just really exciting place to be at.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.